information on the Denver Public Library's Genealogy, African American, and Western History Digital Library. It is located at https://history.denverlibrary.org. The mission statement broadly for the Denver Public Library is, "Together we create welcoming spaces where all are welcome to explore and connect." The mission of the History Project is dedicated to sharing resources and services about African American history, Western history, genealogy, and the conservation movement in the Rocky Mountain West. The community would be the Denver, Colorado area at large, as well as anyone with an interest in U.S. Western history, African American history, and genealogists. The stakeholders would be the City of Denver, the Denver Public Library, the Library Commission reporting to the Mayor of Denver, the City Council, etc. The digital library is operated by the Special Collection and Digital Archives section of the Central Branch of the Denver Public Library. Its funding comes from grants, donations, and general city funds. It seems to be fairly sustainable, as much of the library's revenue has remained fairly consistent over the last 3 years. I couldn't find any information, though, about how the digital library interacts with other libraries. The library contains photographs, maps, architectural plans, local arts, some genealogy material, including obituaries, Social Security death index, and so much more. There is an interactive map of Denver's neighborhoods where you can see historical neighborhoods, historical homes, and so forth. There doesn't seem to be a 5-year plan that's available online for this library. The formal collection plan can be seen at denverlibrary.org/content/collection-development-policies. Selections are made to provide depth and diversity to the existing collections. Donations concerning Western history, genealogy, and African American history in Colorado and the Rocky Mountain West seem to be the preference for materials coming in. There are 2 librarians associated with Special Collections and the Digital Archives, as well as 1 collection services librarian. Any one or all 3 of them should be responsible for adding to the collection. However, this information is not readily available on the website. Donations of materials are accepted as long as they match the collection development policies. Within the History Project, it is laid out with photographs and other digital collections, research and archives, genealogy, again, the buildings and neighborhoods, the African American Research Library, and additional information about the department, news, and events. Within the photographs and digital collections, you can see it's a pretty interesting bit of information about purchasing photos and how to go about searching them. And you can further go into the digital collections and see photographs, maps, architectural plans, local arts, and then some additional ways of viewing the subjects. In photographs, for instance, you can see it's divided out by various topics, and clicking on one of the items will allow you to see information such as the call number, a title, credit, the creator, date, a summary, information, and subject area. In another section, you can find out interesting things like stuff that might have been written on the back of photos. There is an option to browse all, where you can limit by format, creator, area, and what part of the collection it is related to. The metadata does provide information about the image file, but it does seem to only be a scanned version of a photograph or map. Physical copies are housed at either the Denver Public Library main branch or the Blair Caldwell African American Research Library. It is a freely accessible collection. Digital reproduction is available and is free to individuals in most cases. There is both a basic search and an advanced search available, where you can search by the individual collection that it's in. It can be browsed either by the search option here at the top or the curated collection. Now, as far as the help section, it is here in the hamburger menu where you can choose Contact Us, input your information, and the subject matter. The website does not specify where the databases and files are located. There is no information on the website about the hardware, computer, and network components to it. Navigation seems to be built with all levels of technological expertise in mind, providing an option to perform basic search functions, advanced search, or to browse through the visual curated collection. If you select a photograph, you are able to view it first as a small file and eventually zoom in and see a higher resolution. All the websites are ADA compliant. There doesn't seem to be any special security or quality of service provisions, and it does not mention any specific research and development problems that this library addresses. The Denver Public Library does put out a weekly newsletter with information about what's going on in the library. It's not specific to the digital library itself, and it only goes back as far as November 2020. The URL for the Denver Public Library itself is denverlibrary.org, and the URL for the Blair Caldwell African American Research Library is denverlibrary.org/content/Blair-Caldwell-African-American-Research-Library. I chose this particular collection because I have a strong love for the history of the West, and there are a lot of really interesting things within this collection that I wasn't expecting to see. The art of, for instance, hanging from a rafter, or abstract birds,